Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's Safety Awareness Briefing. My name is Jason Rivera. I am the Ground Safety Chair here at Continental Connections. We are so very proud of our new airline, particularly when it comes to the hard work and dedication shown by our amazing employees. Here at Continental Connections, we strive to offer our passengers a safe, comfortable, reliable, trustworthy, and affordable international travel experience, giving them the happiness and confidence they need to continue to fly with us over and over again. We commit ourselves to providing both our passengers and employees with the resources needed to make a positive impact on not only their families, but the domestic and international communities as well. Our mission statement ties into our commitment to safety in that we are obligating ourselves to offer our passengers with a safe travel experience first and foremost. Everything else comes after safety. Like with all of our monthly safety awareness briefings, the following presentation is to be distributed to all of our employees at all company levels to communicate and reinforce that commitment to the safe operation of our airline. The safety guarantee encapsulates everyone from our cabin and flight crews to our maintenance and ground handling teams to our customer service and gate agents. Every one of us is responsible for keeping our airline safe. Before I continue, I want to remind all of you that all of our safety standards are in compliance with the Federal Aviation Regulations, or FARs, published and distributed by the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA. Being based out of JFK International, we operate under a 14 CFR Part 121 air carrier certification. Additionally, because such a large number of our air operations are international, we also operate under an Air Operator Certificate, or AOC, in compliance with all applicable regulations and publications released by the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO. Here at Continental Connections, it is our ultimate goal to create a safety-oriented work culture, one built upon 6 core principles. 1. A just culture, a culture that rewards honesty and clearly defines reckless behavior. 2. A trusting culture, a culture that promotes synergy. 3. A reporting culture, which provides the means to capture the lessons to be learned arising from human errors, near misses, or free lessons. We can't fix what we don't know. 4. A learning culture, which enables us to analyze what we weren't even aware of before. 5. An informed culture, where everyone knows the organization's true safety commitments. And lastly, 6. A flexible culture, where necessary changes are made in order to improve safety. In order to establish this safety-oriented culture, it is the responsibility of every employee from the top down to recognize their daily safety considerations. A daily safety considerations happens whenever one of us is placed in a situation where a clear safety-related decision needs to be made. Sometimes the right decision can be easy, and other times really hard. These daily safety considerations are everywhere and are encountered by all of our employees. All of us face these daily safety considerations, no matter what our position in the company is. For example, while adhering to FAA FAR 91, our flight and cabin crews can face any number of challenges in flight or on the ground, and are committed to both the safe operation of the aircraft as well as ensuring the safety of our passengers. Our ground handling crews face a number of dangers involved with working around aircraft in adverse conditions. Our maintenance technicians work in dangerous environments, being exposed to potentially dangerous chemicals, heights, cuts, scrapes, and bruises, and, like our ground crews, all while being exposed to the elements. Even our gate and ticketing agents have to make daily decisions on their long-term physical well-being, having to lift heavy baggage, stand for long periods of time, and address the needs and concerns of unhappy travelers. Safety considerations are simply everywhere in our business. Today, we will be examining 3 instances in which daily safety considerations were not observed by some of our employees. This will include a brief synopsis of the event and its consequences, as well as the appropriate corrective actions that are to be taken in the future. Please keep in mind that these employees have provided us with a valuable opportunity to embrace our commitment to establishing a reporting culture in which we can learn from our mistakes. Because we want to encourage that mindset, the employees involved in these observations will remain anonymous in this presentation and will be referred to simply as Max, Ted, and Grace, respectively. Earlier this year, a ramp worker, whom we're going to call Max, was captured on video doing a tarmac dance at the Toronto Pearson International Airport in an effort to cheer up a crying child who was aboard the Continental Connections flight he was marshalling. I felt like I needed to brighten that child's life, Max said in an ABC interview. I just made her smile. So then I continued to dance. The video of Max's tarmac dance, which was posted on Twitter, has been viewed over 1.7 million times. While he was indeed dancing, he was still conducting the required movements needed to direct the flight and ground crews through the ground operation. Max is a dedicated employee, and his intentions towards cheering this young child up are truly commendable. Additionally, because of Max's actions, our airline has received a great deal of positive publicity as a result of this event. However, we must ask ourselves if Max was adhering to his daily safety considerations when he decided to perform this tarmac dance. According to our risk assessment department, the probability of Max's dance causing a miscommunication between the aircraft flight deck, other aircraft marshalers, or the tug driver was indeed unlikely. However, the severity of a possible collision on the ground with another aircraft could be catastrophic, bringing the risk assessment of the incident to a medium rating. An example of what could have gone wrong occurred on January 5, 2018, during the collision of a WestJet and Sunwing Boeing 737, which occurred during pushback. The collision resulted in a fire breaking out at the point of contact between the two aircraft. The accident was a result of the Sunwing 737 being pushed back without the use of wing walkers. The question we have to ask ourselves here is whether or not the positive effects of Max's dance are worth the risk. Recently, just this week in fact, we had an incident involving one of our most dedicated and reliable maintenance technicians, Ted, slipping and falling from a height of 32 feet. Thankfully, Ted will recover from his injuries. However, he did spend one night in the hospital as a result of his accident. Ted is a very lucky man. The results of his fall could have been far worse. Ted was changing a tail strobe light on one of our regional aircraft, an E-175. As I mentioned above, our maintenance crews work in adverse weather conditions. Ted was working outside in the dark in 9-mile-an-hour winds in 40-degree temperatures, all while standing on a rolling ladder. According to our risk assessment department, given the weather and lighting conditions, as well as the height at which Ted was working, the danger rating of this repair was rated as extreme. While Ted's commitment to our airline is commendable, these were not the conditions in which this procedure should have been carried out. Ted did, however, do the right thing in asking two other maintenance technicians to spot him during his work. They likely saved his life. While we appreciate this level of dedication, no maintenance task, regardless of its importance, is worth the safety of one of our employees. I often enjoy visiting our employees who are working in the airport while I'm posing as a passenger. Last month, I had the pleasure of meeting with Grace, a bag checker working out of our Salt Lake International hub. While Grace was courteous and professional during our interaction, I could not help but notice that she was not using the appropriate lifting techniques while loading my bags onto the luggage carousel. Grace was also not using an anti-fatigue foot mat, or footrest, or stool, or ergonomic add-ons to her computer workstation. While I know how very proud we all are of Grace's dedication to her job, not utilizing the right equipment or lifting techniques can lead to long-term medical issues, including musculoskeletal disorders, or MSDs. According to our risk assessment department, while the injuries that can be incurred by our baggage checkers are marginal, the frequent nature of their work brings the risk assessment associated with this type of work to high, meaning that Grace is more likely to incur a work-related injury working the check-in counter than Max is marshaling aircraft. albeit the consequences of Grace making a mistake in her job are far less detrimental than Max. Physical exertion is not an indication of an employee's work ethic or value to the company. It is possible for employees to do their jobs utilizing techniques that allow them to physically exert themselves less, and thus become far more productive. Our employees should never feel the need to jeopardize their physical well-being to guarantee job security. Through our observations of the daily safety considerations made by Max, Ted, and Grace, we can begin to formulate some corrective actions in our daily decision-making. In Max's case, for example, honorable intentions and helpful repercussions are no excuse for a lapse in making the right safety decisions. As a practice, Continental Connections will establish a policy forbidding tarmac dances. While Max will not be reprimanded for his actions, any further transgressions against this policy will result in disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. We are so truly grateful that Ted's incident did not result in the death of an employee. Ted failed to make the correct daily safety consideration in that he performed the maintenance task in spite of the fact that adequate maintenance facilities and safety gear were not available to him at that airport. This is why, going forward, all aircraft that require maintenance not affecting the safe operation of flight, which are stranded at an airport without adequate maintenance facilities, will apply for an FAA ferry certificate and be transported to the nearest appropriate airport possessing said appropriate maintenance facilities. Additionally, going forward, any employees engaged in or supervising maintenance work with the potential of falls greater than 4 feet in height without the use of an appropriate fall arrest system will also be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. Lastly, in Grace's case, all gate agents, ticket agents, baggage checkers, and employees who have to stand for long periods of time will be provided with the appropriate ergonomic equipment, including ergonomic add-ons to computer workstations, anti-fatigue foot mats, footrests, and sit-stand stools. These employees will also receive mandatory training on stretching techniques that are to be utilized before and after each shift, as well as training on appropriate lifting techniques. While we will continue to develop our standards and practices to encourage as safe a work environment as possible, it's up to each and every one of you, our employees, to find and identify the daily safety considerations you have to address on a regular basis and assess the safest solutions to the challenges that they present to you in your job. If at any point you feel that you are jeopardizing safety in favor of productivity, bring this to the attention of a supervisor immediately. Your safety, as well as the safety of our customers, passengers, and vendors, is far more important than productivity or profit. This month, we will be focusing on the following 3 aspects of our operations as an airline, which have been inspired by Max, Ted, and Grace. First, maintaining our professional conduct in all ground operations. Second, observing fall hazards in our maintenance work and establishing both active and passive fall prevention methods. This includes preventing situations where falls are possible in the first place. And third, establishing equipment and training standards designed to prevent long-term injuries, including musculoskeletal disorders. While our monthly safety briefings are intended to be applicable to all employees company-wide, this month's focus will be on our line workers, maintenance workers, and airport agents in particular. As with previous safety briefings, we will be assigning additional training to all applicable departments in the form of mandatory computer-based training modules. It will be required of all affected employees to complete these CBT modules within a 6-week period. Additional on-the-job training will also be provided to those affected employees through their shift managers, who will be attending in-person training led by representatives from Continental Connections Safety Department. It is our hope that this additional training will have several beneficial effects on the airline, including but not limited to greater job satisfaction amongst all of our team members, greatly reduced potential for on-the-job work-related injuries as a result of falls, long-term quality of life benefits shared by our airport agents and maintenance technicians, and the increased safety reputation of our airline. We will reassess our performance as an airline in these three categories after a period of 6 months. In 2 quarters, we will see how much dancing, falling, and back abuse we still have in our airline. At that point in time, we will assess whether or not additional attention to these 3 areas of concern is needed. It is our hope that simply bringing these concerns to everyone's attention in the form of this monthly safety briefing will have a significant impact on our self-awareness regarding these concerns. Our 6 core cultural principles leading to a safety-oriented work culture are of extreme importance to our company in that they allow us to continue to develop and evolve. The safety of our air and ground operations requires a constant state of change, or transistasis. The idiom, safety is everyone's business, rings very true in this approach to establishing our safety-oriented work culture. Every one of us is affected by and is able to contribute to these 6 governing principles. It is in adhering to and following these governing principles that we are able to build our desired work culture. And we all contribute to that construction by paying attention to the daily safety considerations that we all face on a regular basis as we strive towards making Continental Connections a successful airline. I want to thank every one of you for being a part of the Continental Connections family, where we fly on the wings of commitment.